Okay, it is Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. This is the Woodstock Town Board meeting. Laura Rickey sitting in for Jeremy Wilbur until he arrives. So in any event, I guess we begin with...
The public can heard is also so you'll have a time to speak. Anybody that wants to speak about Cooper Lake, it's going to be a topic, so anybody can speak.
Okay, so we're going to start with public be heard. You have this signed up because no one else.
That's okay.
I'm telling you, I'm just
No, once I want to speak.
Joe Barton. Joe, you have 2 minutes.
I'd like to point out to this town that you failed in your fiduciary responsibilities, and you failed to give honest service in protecting the rights to Woodstock TV. Garrett Chekhov has trademarked Woodstock TV, and Woodstock TV has been on for many years. Now we have to deal with Gary Chekhov trademarking it. The town should have challenged that trademark and preserved the rights of the public access TV station, Woodstock TV. So in my opinion, you failed in your fiduciary responsibility to the town, you failed to give honest service, and you're on notice that you have failed. And it's time for you to do something to correct that failure. What do you say about that? Are you going to do anything to correct that failure?
I think the public be heard is you tell us what you think and what you think about it.
And you ignore it. like you've done with everything else when people have come here.
But we do thank you for your input. Talk about the equipment.
This is a bunch of clowns. Oh yes, the equipment at the Woodstock studio. Jeremy Wilbur was saying we're going to upgrade the equipment. We're going to upgrade it. Now you're going to move the same broken down equipment from the trailer back into the community center when all that equipment should be replaced. It's old, it's outdated, it's not user friendly.
We're not on the World Wide Web.
We're not on the World Wide Web, and when we were on the World Wide Web, public access is supposed to be free, commercial free. When we were up on the World Wide Web, in the middle of our shows, they threw commercials up, blotting out whatever we were saying. It's time for the town to get a website that's commercial free, and that's your responsibility to do that.
Joe, time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paula? Gloria?
I'm passing.
Okay.
She'll give it to me. She'll give the time to me. We think that you people should do something to protect the rights of what belongs to the town of Woodstock. That TV station, if that TV station was up and running and on the World Wide Web, that TV station would bring tourists into this town. Instead of this small-mindedness of this town, giving tickets to every tourist that comes here, if you promote it in any league field every weekend, on Saturday and on Sunday, and I'd be willing to volunteer to put on concerts there and allow all the local artists to have vending booths there. The tourists would hear about music and art at Woodstock, and they would flock to this town. This town would generate a lot of revenue for the businesses in this town. They'd be eating at the bed and breakfast, they'd be staying at the bed and breakfast, eating at the restaurants, shopping in the local stores, which the local stores are all going out of business because they can't make any money. And what is this town board doing? You're giving tickets to the tourists when they come here. You drive them off. It's unproductive, it's small-minded thinking, and it's time for a change. And that's basically what I've got to say. And I wish you people would comment on this.
I probably shouldn't do this, but Joe, that's a lot of crap. The equipment in the TV studio, to my knowledge, to our knowledge, was brand new a couple of years ago. The only people that have had access to it and have been using it are the various producers.
And all of them
Wait a minute. To my knowledge, we, the board, have not received prior to this any notice that the equipment had failed or was about to fail or whatever. In terms of the town handing out tickets to every visitor, that's a lot of crap. We ticket very few of the actual incidents where people could be ticketed, and I'm talking about parking where it's dangerous. And there are several other points that you made I've mercifully forgotten, and I really
The World Wide Web.
disagree
The World Wide Web.
with, well, Paula, you gave up your time. I really disagree with the whole tenor of what you said.
And
This
you say
town
we have
board-
told you, many of us
this town
producers have
board
told us for
very hard.
before that the equipment is junk. Randy's told you,
Randy Steele,
Felicia's told
Randy,
you.
you're up.
As
Thank
I
you.
said, I probably shouldn't have done that, but
Thank you.
Well, I'll try to go through this, and as I usually do, try to clear up things, whether it's pearls before swine or not. And the reason why I use that analogy is because at the end of the last public town board meeting, Jeremy Wilbur, who isn't here tonight, made a joke directly in my direction, which I and virtually everybody that knows me and spoke with me about the radio that night thought it was a merciless jab and a joke at my expense. So I'm coming to this from an aspect of being personally offended by the conduct of Jeremy Wilbur last meeting, and personally offended by the conduct of the entire board laughing at Jeremy Wilbur's joke about my making an issue about disability access to the community center / performance arts center. Because I'm looking at this listing here, and just this afternoon I had a conversation with Jackie, and all of a sudden, all of these new stipulations are being made on our ability as drummers to drum at the community center. This huge amount of money is being paid to displace us with no prior notice, other than when I come and I try to rent space for the community center for a solstice party. Well, that may be the first time that the drummers use the community center, and that may be the last time that the drummers use the community center, because a lot of the drummers bring their stuff in on wheels, which means because of the lackadaisical attitude, not only towards the disabled, but the users of the back room or other entrances to the community center or TV center, can't get their props or their drums in, and when the drummers find the maze that they're going to have to go through the front,
Randy,
then over to this side, I don't care, I'm talking about my business to the community. Let me finish, because this is a conversation I had with you. So don't be so petty. Let me finish. When we have to go through that maze to get to that back room that's been committed by committee and expediency, then the drummers probably aren't going to want to do it
Are you
anymore. This
using
sort of attitude.
Felicia's time? Because your time is up.
Wow,
Thank you.
this is democracy at work.
Jackie, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
You don't have to listen, but, okay. The back room of the community center, part of the reason we were having trouble putting the ramp there was because we wanted to leave access on the left side to get to the back room. You don't want to, that's, the access to the back room of the community center is through the left side, which is where you wanted to put your handicap ramp. There is access through that side of the community center to get into the back room, up on the porch and through the sliding doors. You don't have to go through the whole community center to bring props and whatever else you have into the back room of the community center. That was the whole point of having the porch back there, so you could gate
Steps
that.
on the porch.
Excuse me?
The porch is steps, it's 3 big steps up.
Yes, but it's the same height of a truck, so that if you open the back of a truck, it can just, that's the height you
I
make
want to
it.
see a truck back up to there, from here,
Well, you know,
and then make
starting
a
your 2
90-degree
minutes?
turn.
Okay.
Well, before-
Start like 2
Wait,
minutes.
Felicia, before you
This is
start,
public.
well, before you start, at the last, I think it was the last meeting, when Kathy did review a set of things that the community center still needed. I believe the ramp was on the list, and I do recall myself saying that I agreed that it should be looked into. It's tricky to do because the pipes are on one side, and you can't really get a ramp in without taking down trees because there has to be emergency vehicle access to be able to get to the back. So it's tricky to find a way, but Kathy and I both did say that we thought that the town board should take a second look and see if we can find a way. So I wouldn't say it's been ignored. We haven't found a way yet, but I wouldn't say it's been ignored. I just wanted to share
There is
that.
a way, and keep working on it, because it will happen. And one way or the other, you know. So my time begins now, and I'm really surprised at this. Then again, I'm not surprised. It almost looks as if the community center was rebuilt for a big stage with this whole deal that's proposed here with the Performing Arts of Woodstock partnership, where the town gets a 1/4% cut of the fee that people pay to get in, which they're listing as after the first $6,000, with sale prices of $20 for seniors and $23 otherwise, and a big block of time, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sundays, where it interferes with what might be, since it gets to be cold weather or rainy weather, the drumming being in there. And we've had a long-term agreement for a number of years on that. I don't want to waste too much time on that, except to bring it to the public's attention that there's something here that doesn't look right as far as this partnership and what has been done in the community center. The other thing I want to say is that with regard to the TV station, Mr. Wank, I've been at the TV station for close to 4 years now. And when I started there, the TriCaster, maybe it was just starting to be there, but it was not a new piece of equipment as far as being up to date. It may have been new as being unused. But as it is now, 4 years later, the Windows program that it operates on is no longer supported, and it hasn't been for like the past year. Also, the Focus machine, a couple of times went out for repairs. That was not new when I started there several years ago. And there's other equipment in there, Delcam monitors that, especially the ones that are on all the time because they're in the carousel rack, they keep burning out. And maybe they should replace with a higher quality one. So there's a mixture of equipment there, some of which is new, some of which is inoperable, including since it's been in the trailers for a year now. There hasn't been any scroll. I'll finish in one sentence. There hasn't been any scroll to let people know public affairs. There has not been the calendar pages up when there's no showing the schedule of the TV programs. And basically there hasn't been any sound coming out of there when people aren't playing either carousel, which is the repeats, or live programs, or playing DVDs or VHS. So there's been a lot of things which are inoperable, and for the past, strangely enough,
But
since it came to the attention of the town,
But Felicia,
that Chet 5 owns Woodstock TV.
But Felicia, your 2 minutes is
There has
well
not been
over.
any internet for over 2 months.
Felicia, you said one sentence. You told us one sentence.
Who's next?
That's it.
That's it, that's it, okay. So thank you for sharing. Kat, you want to say something?
Would you please give me a list of the equipment that's wrong, that's screwed up, that's
Do you
broken?
want to make that one?
Okay.
Gladly, we already tried, but that was not paid any attention to.
Yeah, okay, well, I think Kathy had something she wanted to share.
I want the community to realize that all the equipment in that community center for the lights, the sound, was all donated because the town was on a very strict budget. We're trying to get the TV studio up and running. That's going to cost us at least $6,000. We only have sound equipment that was donated by a very generous person in this community. I think if people want updated equipment, we should look into possible donations like we did for the community center. This is not something that we put on our tax rolls. We did not charge the taxpayers any money for all the equipment that's in that community center, including the lights which were donated recently.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so, I don't know if Jackson has last.
Was, Lisa, I think
Lisa, did you want to speak?
Number 5.
Oh, you said before you didn't want to speak, so go ahead.
Oh, because I was giving it to
That-
someone
that's
else.
fine.
Thank you, and thank you.
Okay,
Wow.
let me just make one
Actually said
thing
something
clear,
else.
if I could though, that when you sign up to speak, you guys speak. You can't sign up 3 names and then defer your time to somebody else. So
Right.
basically, the 2 minutes is your 2 minutes to speak, and then, so Lisa, thank you for speaking for
I think I'll
yourself.
start with that. With all due respect, this process itself is undemocratic. I've seen it on the group tube, I think it's the United States. Someone might have 5 minutes to speak and they can speak for a minute and a half, and then like the Supreme Justice or whoever it is gets to respond like you respond, and then the person reserves their time that's left. 2 minutes is not enough. When you all get defensive and you've been, have something to say, you get to speak. But when we speak, you say like, you know what we do. It's like we're little bad children, but you get to speak. No fair. Okay, don't speak now. See, that doesn't feel good, does it? Why hasn't the town protected Woodstock TV from whatever his name is, Gary Chekhov trademark? I'm almost sure that Jeremy Wilbur had 30 days to make sure that the analog did not come off of the television station, and yet it did. So that was something he could have done. I've said before, I am not good at this. I'm trying to do my civic duty. I have, like, my family has like 2 pictures of me over 40 years. I don't like being on camera, but you are so unjust. Jay Rick is completely, I think you're fine. I don't know a lot of what behind what you a lot of the other ones are doing, so I can't speak fully, but I've said several times already that someone put fences up on a path that is right of way or eminent domain. I've spoken to Jeremy Wilbur, I've spoken to Bill McKenna years ago, and I'm not a wheel, but apparently I'm squeaking. How many times do I have to come here if I am a squeaky wheel? The latest thing that's happened, I'm assuming that you're either slapping me in the face or no one has even called this property owner, because the latest thing that he's done is put mums all over the road on the other side of the fence, which is already blocking my right of way and the right of way of hundreds of people. So I don't know what someone is supposed to do. Am I supposed to come here and squeak like every day? I can't get here because my path is dangerous now. There's so many other things. It shouldn't be 2 minutes. We should be able to have a dialogue. I just want to say one more thing. I really will stop. This thing that's on the tube, it's like maybe parliamentary process where if you want to respond to me, then I reserve the rest of my time. And you have us all like feeling like we have to have prepared speeches, or at least I could speak for myself, which pretty obviously I'm not good at that either.
It is
You have
time,
not just
Lisa.
been very nice, so I appreciate you remembering that I wanted to speak, and I understand, Jackie, that you violated it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
I
Lisa.
have my moments, Lisa.
Excuse me?
I have my moments.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't really like not liking people, but you gotta start doing the right thing.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have 3 topics. Cooper Lake water attorney, Philip Whitland. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want to do it now?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, fine. I'd like to share an article that was in the Freeman a couple of days ago. And I won't read the whole thing, but I'll paraphrase it, or actually just take out a few of the things that need mentioned. A Shandaken man was driving drunk and he rolled his vehicle over on 28. And he ran away from the scene. He ran through the woods. Of course, the state troopers found him, and he was arrested, and he was found to possess an illegal gun and a large capacity magazine, and the additional misdemeanors of an ammo feed device, whatever that may be, and drunken driving and so forth. We read about this kind of thing from time to time locally. But this makes me think about school shootings. This guy is gaga. I'm not accusing him, and I won't, that he is a candidate to break into a school and start shooting. But he's got, in my mind, the kind of craziness about him that could lead to that. We have school shootings and other massacres around this country, and I wonder, will something like this happen in Woodstock? We're not exempt from craziness. What is it, if anything, that can be done? And I'm not going to launch into gun control or whatever. I suggest that everybody that's interested go on Tuesday the 27th to the Woodstock School, where the school board will be having a hearing at 7:30. And where we could ask what measures have been taken, will be taken, are taken to protect the lives of children and teachers and people that work there in different capacities. I know that I will go there. I don't know that, I certainly don't have answers. I'm not sure I have the right questions. But I'm firmly convinced that a local dialogue should go on in relation to the protection of our society from maniacs. And the only other thing I'll say is that it's very interesting that I'm not aware of women running around and doing these things. It's only men. And that's saying something about what the issue is, but we don't need to go into that. So thank you, that's what I wanted to mention.
Okay, and thank you, Jay. Do you happen to know, you said it's a hearing at the Woodstock School, do you know what the topic of the hearing is?
Well, it's a public be heard.
Okay, cool.
So it's a meeting, it's not a
It's a
hearing.
meeting.
It's a meeting, okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
School board meeting.
School board meeting, cool, okay, thank you. Since we're doing announcements, any other announcements from anybody on the board? Okay, we do have some topics. Our first topic, Cooper Lake Water Attorney, Philip Gitman. Is Philip Gitman in the house?
Oh, no, he's not coming. Jeremy just wanted me to relate to the board and the public. You know, a while back, if you all recall, we had tried to engage, we did engage Jeff Baker to look at the Cooper Lake, the water agreements, and that whole situation with Kingston. Sorry to say that Mr. Baker has been less than forthcoming and delayed and put us off and not responded to phone calls. So about a month or so ago, we started to ask around and look for a new attorney that would help us with water rights. And this gentleman's name popped up in several different areas. So Jeremy has contacted him. He's interested. He has sent him the 3 documents that Woodstock has with regard to Cooper Lake, and is asking him to take a look at them and come back with a proposal on what he could do and what it would take. So
he's actually engaged in conversation?
In conversation,
Yeah.
correct. And he's going to come back, hopefully in a week or so, with some thoughts on that.
And
Does he have
Also-
expertise in?
Yeah, he's a water rights attorney.
I imagine that
He has a background.
we will have to interview him. So
I would think that that would make sense. When he has a proposal, we would probably want to have him come to Woodstock and sit down. We can grill him, see what we think.
very good.
Thank you for the update.
I do think there was probably a couple of members of the audience that wanted to talk a little bit about this.
Just over here.
If you want to get on the camera, you should.
Yes.
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, stand up here together, okay.
My name is Richard Buck, and I've been involved with St. Cooper Lake since last fall. It's just about a year now since we first learned that Niagara and Kingston and the town of Ulster were plotting behind closed doors that they wanted to basically drain our reservoir without doing studies, etc. I'm not trying to blow our horn here, but last fall and winter, Safe Cooper Lake, the members of Safe Cooper Lake, we fought pretty long and hard and spent countless hours, thousands of dollars, of our own money to protect our water rights, to fight for our water rights and help drive Niagara out, working with other organizations. We commissioned a professional water report. We sent it to dozens of politicians and agency heads. We did our best to promulgate the issue and to make sure that it was, that it was brought to everyone's attention so that they could see the inequity of the whole thing. We took out ads in the Times. We wrote letters to the editor. We wrote about the ineptitude and the hypocrisy of the Kingston Water Board's pricing policies, where the lower, the lower users actually end up paying more. They have a very regressive water policy, where you can buy 10,000 gallons of water at a far lower rate than you can buy 20. It's just crazy, but that's Kingston. Importantly, we submitted a petition with 872 signatures urging you to, hire an attorney, which you just mentioned. I mean, when I heard that, I was...
We did hire an attorney, we did hire Jeff Baker.
Yeah. But that was what? It's almost a year ago.
Yeah,
Well,
Again, that's
I
all-
won't
maybe
rehash
that's
it,
me.
but we did.
Yeah, no, I get that.
he saw us through the crisis.
Okay, well, I'm not here to comment or castigate because I wasn't part of that whole thing. I'm just surprised that nothing was done about it. But the reason that, that's not my purpose of being here. I mean, to sit here and tell you guys your business, I'm not happy about it, but I don't think anybody is. Safe Cooper Lake ceased its activities last February in hopes that the board would take proactive steps to preclude a repeat. Okay, and probably it's probably part bound up in this whole thing with with the attorney and whatnot. But I sent an email to all you guys requesting, and I sent it to you via email, where I asked 5 things. I said, in my opinion, in our opinion, that 5 things that we should take a proactive step, proactive steps to keep this from happening, or to at least take steps to keep it from happening. And step number 1 was put other governments, Kingston primarily, on notice. And you all know that they were going to have a referendum in November and whatnot. And I think that's good, and I think everybody's sympathetic with that. The problem is it does nothing to address our water rights specifically. Who's to say that that's not going to be politicized just like it's politicized right now? They're not really going to care. They still refer to it as Kingston's water. Cooper Lake, they think of it as Kingston's water. We're just a repository or whatever. It's not our water, it's their water. And as we all know, that the issue has never really been adjudicated. And that was the whole reason for bringing, hiring an attorney, hopefully. I don't know how aggressive, you were going to ask him to be in pursuing these matters. But I'd like to suggest to you guys that, we issue something like a town declaration, that we declare that our water is not for sale. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what has force of law. But it seems to me that we should be telling these people what our position is. You come to our town, we're going to fight for it. Whether Kingston wants to get into the legal niceties of who owns it and who doesn't own it or whatever. Fact is, if we were to hire an attorney, and if you do hire an attorney, the guy is competent and has enough funds and wherewithal to really get to the bottom of it all. I maintain that it's possible that if it's determined that Woodstock has a financial interest in it, I mean, who's to say, and I'm just speculating, and again, I'm not a lawyer, who's to say that we couldn't institute a water tax? You guys want to sell it to another Niagara or Nestle or whomever, fine. It's going to be a water tax of X. I mean, that's an economic, imperative that I think that anybody's got to listen to, including Kingston. And all this is about kind of bringing the power home, making claim to the power, to our water rights. So that it's not just all determined over in Kingston by people who don't represent us, literally don't represent us. They've got aldermen on the Kingston, city council, whatever, but they don't represent us. They don't care what I think. They don't care what you guys think. I mean, you might have some sway, but when it came to being an involved agency, we weren't, although that was Ulster. Okay? The fact is, if we don't speak up, we're not going to be heard. And Cooper Lake has tried to do, Safe Cooper Lake has tried to do that. And, we're going to get re-involved. Second thing is to declare Woodstock as an involved party regarding any water sales decisions Kingston may consider. Put them on notice. We're an involved party. We're an involved, and whether that's a legal procedure or not, just say, look guys, anytime you make a decision, we're going to expect that we're going to be consulted. Number 3, assume the moral high ground by instituting an aggressive water conservation campaign that other towns can follow. As I said before, they've got an upside-down water rate schedule. They actually encourage water waste. I did an analysis on SaveCooperLake.org where we pointed out that the more water you use, the cheaper it is. And we looked at cities like Boston and New York and other folks that are either flat or regressive policy, flat or progressive, where the more water you use, the more it costs you. Now, I can understand the the economic ramifications and all that. You take somebody like a nursery or whomever is using thousands or tens of thousands of gallons, but it doesn't mean you give them a lower rate the more they use. At least flatten it out. These people had to turn to Niagara because they were $18 million in the hole. Let's start to address that. I mean, again, that's not up to you, the town board, but this is the kind of issues that if we can just take the lead on by showing them that we care, we provide the model. They're not doing anything about that. And to my knowledge, they probably just turned their chairs around and didn't listen to us. As I said before, determine when you would get the attorney. I would hope that I don't know what his purview will be. I don't know how much of a budget he'll have to work with. But I think that it seems to me the real power is economic. If we can determine, first of all, legal. None of these issues have been adjudicated and won't happen until, which is why I'm suggesting that we make declarations in the meantime. And if we can have financial rights to it, then that makes it all more potent. And the fifth and final thing is, and it's not the final thing, but the fifth thing is I had asked the board to consider declaring Cooper Lake Appreciation Day, the day that Niagara was turned away. Just as a kind of a Cooper Lake Appreciation Day, to keep it alive, to keep the memory of that fight alive. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a time declaration, it's public relations, but it's the kind of thing that shows that we're being proactive.
Yeah, didn't we make a resolution on that?
I think what a couple of us said is let's hold off on that because we didn't want to go poking this stick in the eye of Kingston who just lost out on a big financial deal. I know I certainly felt that way.
Well, and I don't want to know, and we didn't beat our chests and do big things on our website or Facebook either. But Lord knows what Judith Hansen hasn't changed. Okay, she's run down to Washington or whatever, but who knows what they're plotting, or what they're considering right now. Enough time has passed, I think, where we can declare it.
Well, no matter what happens come November, when's election?
Third.
Third. There's going to be a new mayor down there. And possibly the water board will be reconstituted, or that whole situation will be reconstituted. And at that time, I would hope that Woodstock, by keeping a low profile, we'll be able to go in there and maybe improve relationships. So that we don't go through this again.
But still, and I appreciate that and respect that, but at the same time, that defers to Kingston. I think if we take some of these other steps and just let them know where we're coming from.
Well, the important issue will be, number one, getting an attorney that we all like, and putting him to work on all of these issues. One thing that's in my own mind is I wonder if there is any room for wiggle in the 1929 agreement, the legal agreement that we're bound to. And looking at all of these questions to see, before we do any moves, let's see exactly where we are, what we have, what we might go after, and so forth, as you're suggesting.
Well, I don't know how long that's going to take, and I don't know, and I'm not saying drop everything and do it tomorrow, whatever, but at the same time, I think that I would still encourage you guys to do something. Whether it's Cooper Lake Appreciation Day, whether it's a declaration that our water's not for sale, we can do the legal backfill.
But the water is for sale. Kingston.
So when I say that, I mean just people like Niagara.
Right.
In other words, if you're a member of the community, they have claim to the watershed. I totally get that. The whole thing across from Adams, they need water.
Right.
All that, and But that was a part of the whole, I mean, that was Kingston's whole problem. I mean, we talked about it, but
I don't remember the name of the town, but I got an email recently where a town banned the sale of water to Nestle.
I have a printout that I'll give to all
Oh,
you
you got
guys.
that? Because I mailed it out, I forwarded it.
Because I think that would be great. It's great publicity. After all, we are Woodstock. Who doesn't know Woodstock? And just, again, the whole thing is, putting these guys on notice. Whether it's, I'm not saying spend $1 million on legal fees. What I'm saying, start by saying, here's our position, here's where we're coming from.
There's a Woodstock, Texas, and a Woodstock, Ohio.
There's only one festival.
Yeah, so Richard,
It wasn't
what was the
Woodstock.
date, you said the email, what was the date of the email? I'm not sure if I was on copy or not, I have to say I'm not sure, but anyway. What was the date?
I don't have it, but I'd be happy to get it for you.
Yeah, oh, okay. Because it'd be nice to be able to reference that and rethink some of those things that you said, because it's worthy of thought, especially since now we have an attorney who's gonna take a fresh look at
Well,
everything.
we don't have.
Well, we don't-
Well, we may have
We
one
may
of
have.
George.
By the way,
George down.
I could, suggest somebody to you.
I would love to hear other suggestions.
Okay, yeah, the guy we worked with was very helpful.
Was
His
it
name is Tate Kunkel. He lives over in, I think it's Millbrook.
Tate Kunkel?
Kunkel, Kunkel.
There's also another attorney who is doing a workshop in New York City at the Association of Towns about owning your water.
Mhm.
I'd like to look into him also, so, but I also don't want to procrastinate because we're all disappointed that the attorney we had just really was not responsive.
I can't, I could comment, but I won't comment personally. I mean, I think we all probably have an opinion about that.
He cashed his check.
Well, and anyway, so we're taking a fresh start.
Okay.
So, yes.
So anyway, the three things I want to say, we thought we had won, we asked, we encourage you to take steps. Number one, it would be great if we could get updates. Now, I know you don't want to litigate this whole thing in public. If you have an attorney, you don't say what you have or whatever, but it would be great to know that you guys, and I'm glad to hear that you're retaining an attorney now or searching for an attorney, especially with this referendum thing. I mean, that just, it doesn't like scare me, but it's like Kingston is almost, they're indifferent. It's our water, if we're in Kingston, it's our water. Woodstock doesn't have any say, just like, just like Ulster didn't want to have us be an involved agency. And by the way, I'm led to believe that we just need to declare involved agency. We don't have to ask.
No, I personally called up the DEC, and I spoke with the person who made the decision, who was involved in the decision. I personally called the DEC. I told the DEC I thought they should have been the lead agency. They were involved. They refused to be, they had thought about it. They actually made a conscious decision to not be lead agency. I was very...
For whatever reason.
Well, yeah, I won't go with my opinions on it. But in any event, I was not happy. I thought that I'll say it, I thought they dropped the ball because you couldn't just let Town of Ulster be lead agency because they were going to get all the
Conflict of
gain.
interest.
Yeah, they were going to get all the gain and no pain.
Mhm.
And so I did tell the DEC person, I gave them I was not happy at all, and I thought they really did drop the ball. And I was very clear with them, I thought they should have been lead agency. And I think by law, we couldn't be an involved agency. I know it was looked into. Yeah, we were interested.
I was told
We were
that
interested part.
legally, we just need to declare it. Anyway,
Different people had different word on what legally was and wasn't the case. So my
But
understanding
that's
was
not,
that,
that is not the case.
yeah, so my understanding was that
It wasn't our place to just declare it.
we were not able to. Well, anyway, we can fight that, but there was a lot of thought given into it. But I definitely appreciate all that you're sharing, and I think now that we're taking a fresh look with hoping to engage, starting to engage, but hoping to connect with a new attorney,
Okay.
we should look, I agree, we should look into it. We should be protecting our water. Kingston has also taken, my understanding is that Kingston has also taken more steps, because you had the Kingston, the council, I guess you call it, and then you had the Kingston Water Board. And the Water Board apparently was able to make decisions where the
Well,
town...
they're
Autonomous, right.
They still are, and that's what they're trying to do
Well,
with
they're
this
trying to change
election.
that. So, yeah, so they're trying to
With the
change it so that, because even the city of Kingston wasn't happy, because if the water board sold the water, city of Kingston wasn't getting the water either. So it was really hurting a lot of us. And even the city of Kingston couldn't be, I think, an involved agency. My understanding was they couldn't be an involved agency either, and yet it was their water. We were losing the water, they were losing the water, so there were a lot of actions
Let me see if there's anybody else who wants to.
Take it.
Is
I
there
think there
anybody?
was plenty of malfeasance to go around.
Were you?
Thank you.
Ken Hayes says,
So anyway.
thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I hope I had enough.
Yeah, and it would be good to resend the email to make sure that the town does have it.
I will.
So that the attorney can be, hopefully, it can be passed between.
Thank you.
Did we get, maybe one for Jeremy, do you have a spare for Jeremy?
I'll give him a copy.
Thank you.
Sorry, I made two, that's smaller print.
That's fine, I can read it, so.
Okay. You're young enough.
A couple more years, I won't be able to.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have a prepared statement, I just, I'm glad to see you guys are going to find another attorney. I did a search on Philip Gitlin. I did not see any reference to being a water rights attorney. He's a straight environmental attorney. Some of the things that they're highlighting, some of his representative highlights of his career, he looks like he's very involved with corporate environmental law. And I would really urge you guys to, first of all, Bill, if you really are sure that he's a water rights attorney, I'd like to...
No, this is what we've been told.
Okay, I don't know
I haven't
who told
talked
you,
to
it doesn't show up anywhere on the CD that they've got as the outreach from the website, from the law firm's website. Almost a year ago, through Lydia DeJeanette, Jeremy had a conversation with David Gange, Gange. You look him up and you'll find a water rights attorney. Now, he's going to be expensive because he also does do some corporate interest. But I think my personal feeling is when they get into the weeds with those, I would not say that 1929 is an agreement between the town. There were litigants, Woodstock residents that were litigants against this decision. This was a decision by the precursor of the DEC.
Yeah, I misspoke.
Okay, so I would really like everybody to stop using his agreement. Woodstock went into it kicking and screaming, okay, many years ago. And probably the same thing happened when New York City did it, obviously. We know what they did, eminent domain, and they took towns out. So a couple of things, whatever attorney you decide to do though, a couple of things that came up when we hired Paul Rubin. First of all, we have no data from the city of Kingston, which you should really get, on whether they're really pulling out on a daily basis out of the stream. I have no idea what they're doing. You have no idea. I don't even know if they have any idea. There is no record keeping of what they're doing. And the other thing is, Paul Rubin claimed when they got to the point of doing the environmental review, they literally did not have, there was not enough information in the public domain for anybody, even the Kingston Water Board, you guys, to be able to determine whether this is a safe withdrawal of water. And so I think Richard's right. Let's get a little proactive here and just say, you haven't provided this, you haven't provided that, and you're going to go on notice that if you turn around and try and pull more water out of that stream over and above your domestic or your regular use, you have got to provide this information before you can do it. And it's simple. These are such, they've got this huge contraption now they've got up on Mink Hollow. They did, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And they just had to go through a whole, they had to do some kind of fixing on it. It's not functioning
Didn't work
properly.
well, right.
So really, that's the first basis I think you got to get that attorney to look at. Can we get the information, and how do they support if they're going to do this again?
Right. And I agree with both you and Richard, where I may disagree, and maybe we don't disagree, but it shouldn't be the town board that's making these demands. I want it to be our attorney that's making these demands.
Well, he represents you.
Yeah.
He represents you.
Right,
They were
but I want to have
representing
that
the town.
attorney
Yeah.
so that we're covered.
But also, whoever you hire, I'd like to will you be making public what you exactly are going to have? Like this guy, Philip Gitlin, is he just doing the regular documents that were part of the last
You know,
Would
Jeremy
he
just
like- would
he
he
just
like-
got in touch with them.
Okay.
He sent them the documents and then we're gonna have an interview.
Okay,
in the
would you
next
like
couple
to
of
see the
weeks.
Paul Rubin report?
I'm sure you'd
Sure.
be interested in
Okay,
seeing
I mean,
that.
I think it's an important report for you to see.
Liz, I got lost at someplace. You were talking about pulling out of the stream. Are you talking about Cooper Lake or are you talking
Mink Hollow.
about
Mink Hollow Street.
Mink
Hollow?
Remember,
Because they have that.
there's also another part of that agreement. They are still allowed to take another 500,000 gallons a day out of the salt hill.
Yeah.
We don't know where they're taking the water. We have no idea.
Okay.
And, you
I
know,
wasn't clear on your point.
yeah, so, yeah, anyway, we can get a copy of the Rubin report. Should we just send it to Jeremy? Okay. And I really think whoever looks at that, that's a really good starting point. So, thanks.
Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Okay, any other people want to speak to the Cooper Lake legal situation?
Actually, it wouldn't be so bad to form a committee outside the town board that can spend a little more time on this. So that it doesn't all fall on your time, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
something to think about.
the
By
let-
the way, you did a very good job on the community center, so let's hope we can move on to this.
The other thing is, as Liz just proved, you know, we spent a lot of time and effort on this stuff, and we know a lot about this, like we, you know, worked with Paul on the report and everything. We'd be happy to sit down with an attorney or whatever committee interviews the attorney to brief.
Okay, you just answered my question, whether we have some potential volunteers here for that aid
Yeah.
committee, whatever we want to call it.
I nominate Pam Bees.
Well, as Bill said, I think us taking some advisement is a good idea, so I think we're not going to move on that tonight, but I think it's good,
No, I
good food for
mean,
thought.
take
A
your
good
time.
idea, very good idea.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jay, did you wanted to talk about crosswalks? Is that your topic?
Crosswalks?
Yeah, just additional crosswalks was the,
Yeah. Well, this is a little bit. Starts at the beginning.
It goes to the end.
Very impressive.
Now, these are photographs of the places where we have crosswalks and where we should have crosswalks. And I want to say first that one of the issues that has come up with Tom's story, he has claimed that you have, good night, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Candice.
He has claimed that you have to have curb cuts
Yes.
where there are crosswalks. However, there are pictures here showing crosswalks that they've put in that don't have curb cuts.
Were they grandfathered in?
They made it.
I don't know.
They might be
The
old ones.
one, here's the one at 212 and 225 that goes on the north side from a gravel road to a sidewalk. This is for the kids going to school.
Yeah, that's been there forever.
Yeah, without a curb cut.
It's been there since
That's
I
for
went
the
to school.
Yeah, but I think some of these are pre-existing, is what Jackie's saying. Is that it's a newer requirement.
It's a newer
that they
requirement, so
won't-
if they create a crosswalk today, they cannot do it unless there's curb cuts. So I think you're gonna see some of the older ones that have not had it.
I don't believe that that's the case, because many years ago, when I was asking DOT to get us crosswalks, the first ones in the center of town, they were, well, I won't say jerking us around, they were stalling. And there are curb cuts there.
Right, but I'm saying this one here has been there since 1956, so I don't think you were fighting for crosswalks back then.
Well,
That's the only reason I'm saying there's no curb cut there.
well,
Be that
okay.
as it-
Okay, I was recently talking to them about getting a crosswalk near Joshua's Restaurant.
Down on that corner.
You know?
Yep.
And I was told we're not going to do it because there are no curb cuts. And also, they said that, he said, that we're not going to do it because there's no line of sight for the vehicles coming around the corner going west. And the fact that I pointed out that there's no line of sight for vehicles going west coming up the hill before you hit the one at Mauer's Market and then the town center, that didn't make any point. We need a crosswalk at Joshua's and both directions across the lane there.
Across Tannery Brook?
So how are you proposing we go about getting them?
Well, I propose that we all decide on exactly where we insist on having them. For instance, we could have one at the town hall coming across the sidewalk in front of the apothecary.
Yeah, and that's the one that I have been saying too. I've been saying that particular spot is one that I've been saying we should have a crosswalk, because I do believe, because you have the town hall and the library, which has events, and the parking's across the street, that's an area that I would certainly want to see us really look at getting a crosswalk there.
We need one a little further west because we will have next year a path from the Lower Como parking lot through the gorgeous covered bridge on the Basil property. And coming up, by the way, I heard that there is going to be a coffee shop installed in the old railroad station.
Oh, nice.
And there'll be more foot traffic up
Yeah.
there.
Well, I have heard it said that you do need to have a sidewalk on both ends of the crosswalk.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think the sidewalk goes that much further on. It goes all the way to the post office on the one side of the road. On the other side, I'm not sure if it goes.
Yeah, well, the post office, the one that's left, that's there, is further up west than we need. We need one across the street from the library.
Yeah, I
And we
agree.
need
I agree.
one across 212 from the town hall. And a two-way thing at Joshua's. And every one of these things needs to be repainted.
Crosswalk about every 30 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, well, so what are you looking for the town board to do this evening? Think about it and come back with what would you like the next step to be?
I think that we should decide, the gang of us, on where we want crosswalks.
So why
And then,
don't we all, this week,
yes,
take a couple of trips through town, make some mental notes, and next Tuesday we can sit down and do like that?
right. And then we go back to them with the full force of the board, rather than one maniac here.
Well, I think the procedure is the board passes a resolution and Jeremy sends a letter in.
Yeah, requesting it.
Requesting it, and then they come
So
back.
maybe we can do that resolution
Also,
next
it
week.
should include repainting of every single one of them.
Yes.
They're all at best faded.
Okay, I will ask for Nancy and Janine if you want to say something. You each had hands raised.
While we're talking about it, the crosswalk down at 375 and 212 that the children take from the playhouse and cross, is there any way to get one of those signs they put in the middle of the street that tells the cars to stop for pedestrians? Because I walked my daughter to school there for 4 years, and the cars, we're standing there, and the cars don't, even the police don't stop. You know what I mean, the signs that go right, that they
I
have.
have been there occasionally, not often, and I've seen the crossing guard there protecting the kids.
Oh, I guess that's since
But that was
I
a long
did it.
time ago.
Oh, or
But
Yeah, we haven't
I'm saying
we
that's
haven't
the
had a
case.
close.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was what my concern.
I would bring,
They don't do it anymore.
No.
well, I would bring it up with the school board, because somebody's got to be responsible to put those items out. So I would go to that school board meeting in Woodstock and let them know that, and they could have the custodians put that crosswalk out, that thing out,
You
you
gotta
gotta bring
put
it
it back and
back.
take it down, just like
Yeah, you
That's
can't
what
leave
we,
them in.
that's what we do with the one in the middle of town.
farmers.
Yeah.
market. I see.
Yeah, so I would ask
Well,
them
the
if
farmers
they would
market, they
consider
put one out.
that you're walking your child to school and nobody's stopping.
And where do they get those signs from? From Tom Story or from?
No, oh, you mean the no, I think it's a company, I think you have to purchase them.
The school had to purchase one. But,
It's not from a government, and it's just.
No, we had to purchase them.
Anybody can put a sign like that in the crosswalk anywhere?
No,
Bible.
no, you couldn't buy one and put it out there, no.
Well, you can, but
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I'm just trying to help, if I go to the school,
Yeah.
that, you know, if I give a number or a place, an office.
I'm
to
sure
call.
they know where to buy some.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure, yes. And they probably get have a.
why don't you
place where
have
they
to call Clayton, the police chief?
can- Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but they also can buy stuff in places where they get discounts because they're a different agency than you buying it versus the school buying it.
Right.
Bill, and I'm glad you brought up Clayton while you're brainstorming about where you want the crosswalks to go. For some reason in my historical memory, I have a feeling that there's a number of feet or yards that have to be between. There's a legal,
There is.
so you're probably, would start with that number
And work yourself
and
around
then work yourself around town on that, rather than making a resolution that you want to have 24 crosswalks and find out you can only get a dozen.
exactly.
So,
Okay.
You know, I'll bring it up too. Jan, I don't know if you were there, or Ken, this morning when we had our budget hearing, we were talking about at one point from Clayton this year, the situation in the middle of town with the crossing guard and the whatnot. And one of the things, it seems to me that it's almost the pedestrians that cause more of a backlog in traffic, because they're stepping in and out of traffic and they stop and start. And I just wondered if we took those two crosswalks and maybe pushed them away from the center of town a little bit, away from that intersection, would that help improve things? So just in your travels, let's think about that.
Well, I've been thinking about that and what you said this morning.
Okay, so you were here, right?
Yeah, and I strongly believe that we need a trained civilian there. Because I've seen in the past when, well, go into it, when the public that was looking to cross the road was stopped and the vehicle traffic was waved on, things moved nicely. When the vehicular traffic was stopped and then the public was moved,
Right.
get across the road, things moved nicely. It's such a busy intersection that we can't ignore it in that sense, Bill. I'm convinced we have to have a trained person. Obviously, a policeman is going to be very, very, very.
The only thing I would remind you is that the chief did sit here and say that that doesn't always help. And in fact, he recounted not too long ago having two police officers in that intersection after an event, and they still couldn't deal with it.
Well, I'm not
Yeah, I mean,
interested in increasing the police budget.
No, I know that. All I'm saying is, the police are as trained as any civilian would be in dealing with traffic, and it was still an issue.
Well, and that indicates that it's a major problem.
Yeah.
We could always get our second traffic light.
You know, and I talked to a number of people.
Yeah, that's not favorable.
Who say that it's not gonna help the situation, so I don't know what, these are all people who know how to deal with traffic. So it's a tough intersection, there's no doubt about it.
10 seconds here, and on Wednesday, this is not an adversarial one. On Wednesdays with the Farmers Festival, it's so much safer at that particular area by Red Room, just by the fact that there are people there who are working it. I think his name is Gary.
Yes.
It makes a huge difference. Everybody's stopping. That's probably my
Actually, sorry.
Yeah, that, it's okay.
And Mick the guy who does the center of town is frequently down there at the farmer's
I'm
market.
always
Same-
using his name up.
He's
Yeah,
always-
it's
He's
wonderful.
been doing it for years.
They have a number of different people, but he's one that does it a lot.
He is amazing.
So, you know, part of the benefit there is that it's only two-way traffic. You can't really, Maple Lane is closed, so you don't have people turning.
It's not really close sometimes, and it gets a little creepy. The
Yeah.
cars that sneak through there.
Yes,
Yeah.
cars do, but for the most part, you don't have
Most don't.
three-way traffic like
For
you
the
do
most
up in the center of
Yeah.
town. And-
But kids will be running around and cars sneak through and,
Yeah.
Yeah. But not as many because the parking lot's filled, so they can't, they're not, you know.
they drive down Maple and,
Yeah.
as you said, you will. You're not, you want to be
So-
like that.
Okay, so I think that the next step here was town board members will email each other and with
Can
new
we
ideas.
talk about it next week? Take a look and we'll come back with,
But some emails going back and forth probably, or just wait till next week
we
too?
can talk next week or whenever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, thank you. Thank you, Jay.
But I think the next one
I
is
think
yours
he's
too,
up
Jim.
on, I think Jay's got the next one too.
Yeah.
So Jay
Yeah,
should.
a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, some citizens of town came in and were talking about the traffic problems, the parking problems on Mead Mountain Road and on,
Mill Street.
Mill Street. And Jeremy suggested that I prepare something to deal with that issue, and I've given you each copies of it. For the public, I read it. This would be in addition to the town code, section 233-4. 2 new no parking anytime zones shall be created. Or let me say that the dimensions, the thousands of feet that I have on here are estimates. I don't have the means of
That's
getting.
about a mile of
You didn't go
parking.
out with a tape measure?
Yeah, so the first zone would be Meats Mountain Road, beginning 2,000 feet south of the Overlook Mountain Trailhead parking lot and extending 3,000 feet north of the trailhead parking lot on both sides of the road.
So Jay, if I could just ask, where roughly are those, what are the landmarks? Do you have an idea or you just?
Roughly, the southern one would be about the middle.
I almost said, where is it in relation to your house? Is it from your house?
No, it's up the hill from there.
So the church, turn at the church?
Yeah, a little below there.
Okay, so roughly just below the turn at the church.
And past the berry field, what do we call that?
Magic
Meadow. Thank you.
You mean all the way down past Magic Meadow?
Just past the entrance to Magic Meadow.
Pretty far.
Because
So
there's
you're going to block and stop people from parking for the drumming on the Magic Meadow?
No, I'm gonna fight to get you that parking. We should,
These are,
we should, hold on.
these are suggested numbers. As I said at the top, I don't have the means to determine accurately their suggestions.
Point of information.
I think that one.
Presently, there is no parking on the Magic Meadow side of the road from the Magic Meadow trail entrance south to, I think, past that, where there's one house with property there, and there are a couple of no parking signs there.
Right.
Now, I don't know how far
Parking signs.
uphill that extends towards the KTD and the trailhead for the Meads Mountain, but there's something that exists there.
Well, this will encompass all that. A mile and a quarter of no parking zone.
So it'd be worth looking at.
Just for a point of information, it already is no parking from about the church on the mountain.
Most of that is no
It already
parking.
is on the one side.
Yeah, but I think that the item 3 addresses, because there's not a good enough
It's gonna be a
signage.
super fine
A
area.
super signage, yeah, well,
No,
it's
super
already,
fine.
super, oh.
You're gonna get
And it-
a
yeah,
bigger
and-
fine.
Yeah, reading J's number 3, fines of $100 and a tow-away symbol, whether or not we actually tow is a different question, but a tow-away symbol should be a deterrent.
So we can haggle over the,
As it occurs in the print at the present, it talks about on Mead Mountain Road, and ending east of the Overlook Mountain Trailhead parking lot for a distance of 300 feet. Now, that 300 feet would
3,000.
take it,
I see 3,000.
No, he's reading the code.
he's reading
Oh,
from
the
the
code, I'm
present
sorry,
code.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
That 300 feet would take it down close to the entrance to the KTD's parking lot on the north side of the road.
Right.
And we have parking, no parking signs further along the road there. So, again, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet, they are estimates because I don't have the means to do that, and clearly, those boundaries would be determined by the highway department and the police or whoever, but not me.
So then your second one?
On Millstream Road, from the intersection of State Route 375 west onto Ohio Mountain Road, 1,000 feet past the intersection with Tannery Brook Road on both sides of the road. Again, estimated dimension, okay? They certainly should go past, in my opinion, that intersection with Tannery Brook Road. How far, I don't know.
So there is a section there on Millstream where you can probably pull up the road
I was just gonna ask.
and park. So you're
Yeah,
saying no parking.
You're saying no parking, either way you can pull over?
Well, they're,
No,
they're,
they
they're,
access the
I
sidewalk.
don't, again, these dimensions
Tannery Brook.
yeah.
are very, very rough, and where we can do that, I'm in favor of it.
Well, there are very few pullover. I take that route frequently, and there are a couple of pullover spots, not very many, but then everybody, it's very treacherous, because everybody else then parks where there's not a pullover spot. So maybe if there's a well-marked, and you keep 1 or 2 spots that you can pull over, they should be well-marked.
We could
Well,
double sign it, no
yeah.
no parking, and then leave the section where there's a pullover space empty, and then no
Okay.
parking, no parking.
That's good.
So you can double sign
Pretty
it.
much headed in that direction right
Kind
now.
of,
Because
Yeah,
there's a lot of no parking signs on that road to begin with.
Yeah, we put,
Yeah, people park anyway.
So
We upgraded
basically,
that
what you would
last
want
year.
to do is just change the signage.
For the ones where there's already signs.
Yeah.
So get to the meat and bones. of it.
And then number 3, new signage shall be erected in these new zones indicating a fine of $100 and displaying a tow-away symbol and showing the limits of the roadways covered. These new charges will be displayed in the appropriate sections of the zoning code.
So what do you mean by showing the limits of the roadway covered?
Well, where no parking starts.
Oh, I see, the
and where
arrows.
no
You have the
parking
arrows.
ends,
Okay,
and where you can park beyond.
right, gotcha, putting their arrows on the signs.
Yeah.
So people-
But the
Gotcha.
sign should indicate both tow-away and the $100 fine that we discussed.
so it's gonna be difficult for people who want to go swimming in those swimming holes to figure out where to park.
Yeah, but you know where you're gonna push them? You're gonna push them onto Old Redmond.
Onto where?
Oh, I don't know.
That's where they're gonna go.
Well, either that or
They
Denny's
can't park on Mill
or
Street.
Pine Grove, maybe, or Devon, because there's
Or
a,
street
on the other
side.
street, the other side. But the issue, I see on Mill Stream though, is it's really a through street, and a lot of, it does have a fair amount of traffic. I'm not saying it would be good to put them on the other streets. Some of those side streets have no parking signs as
I
well.
mean, people from O'Hare out in Broadview and Uri Hill, that's how they get out to 375.
Yeah,
I know,
yes.
but Wagon is like right there, so that's where they're gonna, I mean, they do that now.
Oh, okay.
So like they're maybe the first 3 or 4 from Millstream, you'll see some cars there, which is, not the best, because you're kind of right in the road there, there's really no pull
Yeah, but
up.
Millstream really needs to be taken care of. That is
No,
somebody getting killed.
No,
just
I know,
just waiting
but
to
so
happen.
thought was maybe you want to start
It's
putting
not
stuff
just
up on
the
Old
danger,
Wagon.
but the crowds
that's
of
where
people
they're
in
gonna
the street.
Well, the complaints I've got is not so much about the parking, but the kids shooting across the road.
Yep.
I guess they've almost run over a couple.
Yep.
Oh dear.
And it's difficult because there's parking frequently on both
On both
sides.
sides, yeah.
So at least if there's no cars there and the kids are crossing, it's not so
You'll see
bad,
them.
but they're darting in and out of the cars.
So what is the next step on Jay's proposal?
A public hearing to change the law,
Well, is the next step though to,
if we want to move
yeah,
forward.
but should there be any clarification? I know Jay said he put out some
Yeah.
estimates. Should the first step be to investigate what the specific wording should be?
We would need to, for the public hearing, tighten it up a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
you need better wording.
We need to come to an agreement
on
on,
the word. So how?
and that can still be amended at a public hearing.
Sure, but I mean, what is the next step to make the wording?
This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is
Exact
open.
distances too.
Was
You
that,
gotta get the exact.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I got the distances.
I mean, because I don't know exactly how far from the monastery, there's been issues with how far down people are parking and causing a problem. Is it 2,000 feet or is it only 1,000 feet?
Jay, I have a
Well, we have to-
really measure thing, I'll give you.
I'll do it together.
Yeah. I was trying to get out of it.
A wheelie thing with an operator.
I'd probably be quicker
You
myself.
really have with that really.
That's what you get.
All right. We'll put that in the minutes. We got Bill and Jay going.
No, that will not go in my minutes, no deal with it.
Really, and that's good, and then tighten it up, and then public hearing, what would be the thought with,
Give them some
We'll think
time
about
to
it.
really thing in.
We'll we can tighten this up for next week and then.
yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that I believe we had agreed on in relation to this proposal is that we have a $100 fine and a tow-away indication.
Yes.
Yeah, I think number 3 looks, my opinion, number 3 looks good as is, and just number 1 and 2, just clarifying the exact. Yeah, so that's great. So we have Jay and Bill gonna tighten it up a bit, and I'm sure we'll see this come out. And thank you, Jay, because this is a great first step of making it, going in the right direction, making it real, so thank you. Oh, yes, Nancy?
In anticipation of the hearing, people are gonna say, what are we supposed to do? So please, I mean, what are people supposed to do? You can't give us something really. Are they gonna stop
They need
swimming? I mean,
Petition the DEC or whoever, the DEP, to
You know, they,
Create parking.
create parking.
Expedite the parking, expansion of the parking up on top of the mountain.
they're, and they're.
And then have suggested parking spaces in town that I guess you want them to park at Sunflower or something, and walk to the mill stream. I mean,
That's
you have to
proper.
think about,
Yeah,
you have to think about what are people gonna do?
Well, most people should know that, when you get a driver's license, you're supposed to know the laws in the state of New York, and most of them are that you cannot park on a roadway. I mean, it's that simple where it says no parking.
They don't care what people are gonna do.
But
So-
what, you
They
gonna
just
stop
want
them
the
from
fine.
swimming?
No, we want the safety. I'm being honest. I drive
Yeah.
that road, from 375 over to Tannery Brook. I drive that quite a bit.
Yeah, but you stop people from the access of places they've been going to and
Yeah,
going
but
to
Joe,
and going.
Joe, what I'm telling you is, it's down to 1 lane sometimes. It's down to 1 lane, and it's a 2-lane road, and you're forced to be going around the bend, 1 lane, not knowing who's coming. Somebody's gonna get killed. So I understand people wanna go swimming, but people are gonna get killed if we don't fix the problem.
You know,
That's
there's
my-
limited parking, there's no way they're gonna create a parking lot over there.
No,
No.
Yeah,
people
so
have to walk. It's that simple.
they're gonna have to walk.
They're gonna have to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for you too, trust me.
And if they're going swimming, it's nice weather.
But Nancy,
They'll get nice and calm, and then
So we
they'll
should
jump
give some
in.
thought to,
It
is
is that
there
cold
something else that
stream.
can be done? We should give some thought to, is there something else can be done? But safety, I think safety first, that's my opinion on the topic. Janine?
Just a quick question, is there a town board liaison with the DEC with regard to the parking problems up on Overlook?
Jeremy's
Jeremy is the liaison, and then is he,
supervisor, and he's negotiating. and
he's
discussing.
working with the DEC to have them do what?
You know, that they've been quiet, I think they're looking to add parking up there, and they.
Because I know that the
they're
people
lacking
that-
in specifics.
The
but
people
they're
that I
working.
know that hike up there are pretty upset that the town is considering this. I mean, I'm in support of the no parking, but I don't see anybody coming to meet them halfway and trying to develop a quick plan for hiking.
Well,
That's the
the Jeremy has asked the DOT,
DEC.
DEC, to provide more parking land
Yeah,
up
that's what
there.
we're talking about.
They advertise that trail as a gorgeous
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So,
They are pulling people in.
so who should I tell my friends to refer their complaints to? The
DEC.
DEC.
DEC property, and they've advertised it, because you know, a lot of these cars, if you go up there, they're not local.
No, I know that. And is the town going to do anything to advertise on the website or any of their social media that parking is
We
going
have
to
asked, and
on our website?
no, but we've asked on the DEC's website where they advertise this, to say that parking laws are strictly enforced, there's no on-street parking.
So we're going to just kind of stay neutral about that, it sounds like. We're not going to put on the town website that
Well, again,
caution, the parking signs are going up, no parking signs, and then.
you mean if we change this law?
Right, right.
Well, if we
Well,
change
the
the
public will
law,
know because it'll
we
be
will-
public hearing and.
it'll be on the website.
I hope, I'm kind of lobbying for the website. I mean, nobody reads
Yeah.
public hearing notices when they're.
They own tons of acres up there.
It's just that the DEC is the one who's been advertising the hiking, and so when people read that there's hiking, they should also read that there's a parking regulations.
I get that, I do, I get it, but they're not doing it, obviously, but we can help a little bit. That's all, okay, okay, I know where to send them.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Any other conversation on the no parking zones?
Safety moves the resolution.
We can, yay, okay.
Might make the debate.
Yay, okay. So anyway, so resolutions, adopt stewardship plan, just read that, all right, we'll do. All right, be it resolved to adopt the stewardship plan as a guide to help preserve the ecological and environmental attributes of the Cuomo property.
I make a motion.
Yeah, this is really the appendices to
second?
the stewardship plan.
Go ahead, Ken.
These are really the appendices to the stewardship plan. The stewardship plan itself is already part of the easement, the first. So we ought to, just a journalistic change, adopt the appendices.
Okay, so we have a motion and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Just so that if anybody wants a hard copy, I'll have it in my office tomorrow.
Don't read all these, just you see attached list of dates and times.
Okay, where is the attachment? Not.
It's the list right there.
Oh, I see. Okay, just, you got it. Gotcha, thank you. Thank you. Okay, whereas Performing Arts of Woodstock, PAW, would like to partner with the town on use of the community center for a fall 2015 production, and whereas under the adopted fee schedule, PAW would pay the sum of $3,940 for use of the building for a production resulting in 9 performances, and whereas because of the vagaries of attendance, PAW can commit to paying a $1,500 fee plus in-kind services, including installation of a permanent blackout curtains approved and purchased by the town, and installation of 9 theater lamps donated to the town. And whereas PAW will also pay to the town 25% of ticket sales after the first $6,000, sale price is $20 for seniors, $23 otherwise. Therefore, be it resolved to authorize use of the community center by PAW beginning October 31st and ending November 29th, based on the conditions stated above, and be it further resolved that based on the experience of this production, the town and PAW will discuss terms for future productions as they relate to fees, and be it further resolved, below is the approved schedule for use. The schedule is attached.
So I make a motion.
Second.
So just
For discussion.
Jeremy and I have met a few times with PAW, and a while back, actually when Kathy and I and Jackie were looking into fees for this building, Jeremy had proposed the possibility of doing something with some of these groups where there would be a percentage at the gate, which would make it a little bit more financially advantageous for them to put on a performance without having to sweat being able to pony up a huge chunk of money.
Until after they make it.
Exactly.
And if they make it.
And if they
If they make it.
Right.
And also, just, we did we were all very clear that this is a test run, that there'll be an exit interview with all the groups involved, to see how it worked, what worked well, what didn't work well. And we agreed, and Jeremy and I looked at this and went into this discussion saying that, you know, this is going to be, whatever we do for PAWs, we'll do it for other groups as well. So, and again, this will all be reviewed and rehashed. So.
I think it looks like a good compromise and a good way to have the PAW use the community center, and as Jackie says, after they've made the money, they pay it, not committee money they haven't got. So that's, I think,
Can I just make,
Uh,
oh, I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah, is, are they, for these dates, are they using the entire building?
They're not gonna let us drum in there on the Sundays when they're using the,
You know,
they may have consulted.
Randy, please,
They
please.
never consulted us. They consult the PAW 5 times, but they never mention a word to us.
Jay,
It's no longer a community center,
we
it's
should
a
have,
theater.
we can have Jeremy
The uncalled
amend the top schedule. No, it's not all the times are for the entire building.
Okay.
And
Where's the
what we
Woodstock
did-
million?
When they first came in, you know, I'm gonna say there's like 110 hours here or something, I forget the amount of times.
Yeah.
They actually came in with about 140. And we sat down with them and went over their entire schedule and said, well, do you really need 4 hours here? Do you need 3 hours here? Do you need the whole building? So we did reel it down a lot before we agreed to
That
this.
doesn't say whether we're gonna be allowed to drum as we were previously committed and had a deposit on it.
Jackie, did you have something to?
I did. Just so that everybody knows, I have been in touch with Lena before these times and dates were confirmed. There were people that had the building reserved on some of these days, so I do need to sit down and speak with PAW on some of these days. So,
And the issue of access to the rear room comes up again when some members of the
There will be
PAW
full
are
access.
hostile to
Stop
allow
it.
the disabled
There will-
into the building.
there will
There are
be
new
full
barriers,
access.
that's against the ADA,
Jay,
put
did
new
you-
barriers.
Hey, people, be quiet, this is not democracy. Why don't you leave and stop interrupting the meeting?
Jay.
Because this affects me apparently a lot more than it affects you.
They're not being democratic.
That's what's wrong.
You have
You
to
speak when you're recognized, leave.
Read the Constitution.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna call the meeting back to order.
Official.
I think-
Be quiet, be quiet.
Jay,
You
that's
be
it.
quiet,
Yeah,
you spoke
okay.
first.
everybody not,
Yeah, I am going to make an announcement. If people cannot be quiet, they do need to leave the
Then you
room.
be quiet.
This is a town board meeting. You are privileged to be here, and public comment is at the beginning of the meeting. And if things get out of hand, people do need to leave. So we are going to continue conducting the town board meeting. That is why we are here tonight. Jay
Resign.
Can I get a vote?
Jay has the floor next.
After this first experiment goes down, and we're going to look at the fee schedule again, I believe that that means that they will come with their books.
They said their books are open, if you want to sit down with them.
they usually, let me just say, they usually send me something that states how many tickets
Right.
were sold and that type of thing, so we'll,
Jay,
Okay, I just
I
want
will actually, we brought this point to them, that, you know, there needs to be full transparency, and they said absolutely, and they couldn't.
okay.
I'm of the opinion, I got the impression, if you wanted to go sit down with them tomorrow, they'll sit down with you.
No, I'm happy to do this after they've gone through this test run.
Yeah.
And then at that point, having open books is the only meaningful way of coming to a conclusion about new possible,
I couldn't agree more with you.
yeah, good, okay.
And I
I'm
think
good.
they've come a long way too with agreeing to the $1,500. Usually they're sending us a bill, so
Yeah.
this this is going in the right direction.
So good. Now, Jen, did you have something to say, or?
No, you guys just didn't vote on it though.
Okay, so you have a,
I make a motion.
you have a motion and a
And
second
Kathy
already?
seconded, yeah.
Okay, are we ready for a vote? All in favor? Okay, thank you.
And Jackie, isn't it so that if anyone wants to rent the community center, they, to see you have the book with all the dates and times
Yes.
to sign up? It's not restricted to any particular group, it's free to everyone. The Film Festival used it, and many other people have called me, I've sent them to Jackie, and she has the book, and she's the one who sits there and tries to, make sure everyone gets the times they want.
And you'll sit down with them and go over this list. And
I'd like to do it with Jeremy or one of the other board members, because
if Jeremy,
there's
if he doesn't have
There's
time.
multiple emails that have gone back, and so far, nobody's emailed me back. But
And we need to make sure that
there are a couple
doesn't-
of conflicts, so we just need to make sure we get
We'll
those
work
taken
those
care
out.
of.
Okay, thank you. Okay, be it resolved that the Woodstock Town Board shall hold a public hearing on October 20th, 2015 at 7 p.m. at the town offices on the matter of adoption of the year Hamlet Sewer District 2016 budget, including the establishment of a user fee and the benefit unit charge, and authorizes the town clerk to place the following legal notice in the official newspaper. On October 13th, 2015, the Woodstock Town Board scheduled a public hearing for October 20th, 2015 at 7 p.m. at the town offices on the matter of adoption of the year Hamlet Sewer District 2016 budget, including the establishment of a user fee and the benefit unit charge by order of the town board, Jackie Early, town clerk.
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Woodstock Town Board shall hold a public hearing on October 20th, 2015 at 7:10 p.m. at the town offices on the matter of adoption of the year Eastern and Central Wastewater Disposal Districts 2016 budget, including the establishment of an operation and maintenance charge and the benefit unit charge, and authorizes the town clerk to place the following legal notice in the official newspaper. On October 13th, 2015, the Woodstock Town Board scheduled a public hearing for October 20th, 2015 at 7:10 p.m. at the town offices on the matter of adoption of the year on-site district 2016 budget, including the establishment of a user fee and the benefit unit charge by order of the town board, Jackie Early, town clerk.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Woodstock Town Board shall hold a public hearing on October 20th, 2015 at 7:20 p.m. at the town offices, 45 Como Drive, Woodstock, New York, on the matter of adoption of the year 2016 Woodstock Water District budget for, including the establishment of a user fee and a levy on real property in the district, and authorizes the town clerk to place the following legal notice in the official newspaper. On October 13th, 2015, the Woodstock Town Board scheduled a public hearing for October 20th, 2015 at 7:20 p.m. at the town offices on the matter of adoption of the year Water District 2016 budget, including the establishment of a user fee and a benefit unit charge, by order of the town board, Jackie Early, town clerk.
Second.
I think I heard Bill and Kathy. Jay, you said something? Oh, okay, so Jay gets a second? Okay. All in favor? Okay.
Are any of the fees changing, increasing? Any of those
I think
districts?
some of them are going down,
Yeah.
but the budget hasn't been adopted yet, so.
No, the price per gallon of meter fees and things like that all stay the
It's
same.
staying the same.
The benefit charges go down a little.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Whereas solicitations coordinated by the Water and Highway Superintendents were made to companies that provide experienced operators of bucket trucks used for trimming and taking down trees, and whereas providers were asked for a daily 8-hour cost bid for use of a bucket truck and one operator, and whereas LW Tree Service submitted a quote of $1,000 for each 8-hour day of use of a bucket truck and one operator, and whereas this is the lowest bid, and whereas LW Tree Service has provided the town with evidence that it is properly insured for such work, therefore be it resolved to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with LW Tree Service, and be it further resolved, the water superintendent shall recommend work involving safety and the protection of water district assets, and the highway superintendent shall have the authority to direct work, including the authority to deploy personnel and equipment from all funds to enhance the safety and the protection of water district, highway, and general fund assets, and be it further resolved, each fund shall be responsible for its costs.
Second motion?
I heard Bill, I heard Jay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any more topics before we adjourn?
No, adjourn.
I heard a motion.
Second.
Okay.
Any discussion on that?
No.
All in favor?
Did you guys know this?
Just were the trees gonna be cut down this fall, or early winter, or?
No, we don't, there's, I mean, they have a specific plan, this wasn't for a specific plan.